Shipping has 0 hidden fees. You'll never pay for same-day booking or be charged for stairs, heavy items, or elevator fees. Rates are the same Monday through Saturday, and you will never pay a truck or fuel surcharge. And they offer payment plans through PayPal. Call MHC Moving today at 402-853-7167 or go to mhcmoving.com.
Have you been injured in an accident and don't know where to turn? You need an attorney you can trust to handle your case with professionalism and compassion. The attorneys at Liberty Law Group understand that a call to an attorney is a call for help. If you've been injured, we want to help you. Liberty Law's experienced attorneys are committed to the pursuit of justice for those injured. Call Liberty Law and find out how we can help you get the compensation you deserve. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. Call the trial attorneys you can trust. 877-42-LIBERTY.
Looking for a financial partner that truly makes a difference? Modern Woodmen is a member-owned fraternal financial services organization. We can help you plan for all stages of life, from protection to saving to retirement. We also offer member benefits, social activities, and volunteer opportunities to help your family and community.
I'm Sean Erickson, your Modern Woodmen representative in Lincoln. Call me at 402-483-6515 to start the conversation.
Modern Woodmen of America, touching lives, securing futures.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
M Suits Clothiers, Lincoln's favorite men's store. Family owned and operated, located 1 block south of 56th and Pine Lake Road. Go bold this summer and fall with endless possibilities. Stop in now for the best selection on sweaters, outerwear, suits, sport coats, dress pants, and dress shirts. M Suits Clothiers, your menswear store.
Western Sand and Gravel is hiring for a variety of positions at their sand and gravel plants near Ashland. Apply today and receive a $2,500 hiring bonus. Available positions include plant operators, dredge operators, and shop service technicians. They offer great pay, health benefits, 401k, a wellness program, paid holidays, and paid time off. No matter your experience level, on-the-job training is available to help you build a rewarding career with Western Sand and Gravel. Start your career today. Visit westernsand.com.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
93.7 The Ticket is your home for every Kansas City Royals baseball game. Bobby Witt Jr., Salvador Perez, Vinny Pasquantino, and the rest of the Royals attempt to make the postseason for the second season in a row. And you can hear all the action on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Your home for Kansas City Royals baseball.
Need service on your home air conditioner? Call the company Lincoln has counted on since 1952, Bryant Air Conditioning and Heating. No matter what brand you have, when you need service, you want Bryant's experienced pros working for you. Friendly, NATE certified technicians with the tools, training, and technology to restore your comfort quickly. No matter what brand, when you need service, just call Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing. 467-1111. Bryant, whatever it takes.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. You're listening to The Law of Lift with Dr. Lawrence Chatters. Real stories, powerful insights, and weekly inspiration to help you rise above life's challenges. Let's lift off with Dr. Lawrence Chatters on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Lincoln, Nebraska. It is a beautiful, beautiful Saturday. I will admit, it's very hot today. I mean, I'm just like, I got out this morning and I was just like, oh my gosh, it's hot already. And it's like 7 o'clock in the morning. And so it's a hot day in Nebraska, but it is summer. And so it's supposed to be hot. And I hope you're out cruising around right now, just absolutely enjoying this wonderful Saturday. It's one of your last Saturdays to enjoy before this wonderful thing called the football season gets started. And so many other seasons are going to be kicking into action. School has started. I've seen so many first day of school pictures. It's not even funny. And so that's a wonderful thing. That's all good, positive energy. But it pales in comparison to the energy that this next guest that I have on my show brings to the table each and every day with her high level of energy, her high level of empathy, and all of the wonderful attributes and characteristics that she brings to the table. And I am so incredibly blessed to have her on my show today. Ladies and gentlemen, Heather Brink Rennerfelt.
Hello.
How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Excited to be here and, have an authentic conversation just about life. And
yes,
it's definitely hot outside, but I'm not
Yes.
complaining because I don't like the reverse of this. So
That's right.
we're
The
going to
cold.
enjoy it while it's here.
Exactly.
Right?
Let's
Yeah,
enjoy
yeah.
the warmth. Enjoy the warmth. We can always step into the air condition, but
Right.
you don't want to run around when you get outside, like when it's cold.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
First of all, I want to give some context here because I want people to understand, why I have such a high level of respect for you and admiration. And so to my listeners, this is Coach Heather Brink, and she's currently the head coach for the women's gymnastics team at Nebraska. And that's where I really met Coach
Mhm.
Brink, was when, I was working in the athletic department a few years back, and I had the opportunity to work very closely with her as her sport administrator. And I got a chance, honestly, you all, to see up close and personal, first of all the time and effort and energy that goes into being a head coach in the Division I program area. And I also got the chance to just get to know her as a professional and working very closely with her. And what I can tell you is that what I know in my heart is that she cares more for those student athletes than anyone that I've ever seen. And she thinks about what is causing their challenges, and she tries to get those barriers out of their way. And that's something I always really appreciated about you, is just your constant advocacy for those student athletes and for your program. You are so passionate about making sure that they have the opportunity to be successful. And first and foremost, I think that comes as young women in their lives. That's what's most important to you. Like gymnastics, it's there. But what's most important, I think, and what I saw with what you do, is that you care about them as young women, being successful as young women, as students, as athletes. And I just never saw anyone else advocate for their student athletes as much as you did for yours. And so I just had to tell you that
Thank you.
that elicited a lot of respect from me, because I recognize that you've taken something that you truly love, which is gymnastics and everything that it does for you, and you've turned that into making sure that other people have access to that. Right. And so so you all, just so you know, I mean, I'm kind of starting, I usually start with those flowers that I give to people just to let them know why it was important to me to have you on my show, because this show is called The Law of Lift. And so I really think conceptually, we have these opportunities over the course of our life to gain resilience and to become stronger. And that strength and all the things that we go through and the challenges and all those things, they provide enough lift for us to actually lift up. And usually when we do that, if given the right opportunity, we'll bring other people with us. And I think as a person in so many different dimensions of your life, as a mother, as a wife, as a coach, as an assistant coach, and a leader, you've been able to lift a lot of people over the course of your life.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, I just think the evolution of life in general and who I am as a human being, going from, having been an athlete to being single, to then being, dating or engaged and then married, and now you have kids, and just every time there's an evolution of your thought process of how you go about doing things. And I get the benefit every day to be able to impact these young women's lives.
Yes.
And I take it really seriously, because I would want to know as a mom or as an athlete that I can trust that person in my corner to empower me to, grow and evolve as a human being as well. Because I don't think I'd be sitting here if it wasn't for the people that invested in me as a human and the evolution in that process as well. Because, we all aren't perfect. And
that's right. There's things that happen as you're developing, and people have to be there to guide you. Right. So let's go back to the beginning of that development and just your journey on a personal level. We're going to talk a little bit about the early part of your life. And one of the first questions I always like to ask my guests which might be a bit of a curveball for you, is where did your name Heather come from? Can you tell us where your name came from?
I don't even know that. Nope, don't even know.
Don't know.
Nope. I'm the oldest.
Okay.
So I'm assuming they had it picked out, but
Okay.
I don't know. I never asked them.
Okay, well,
I used to not love the name when I was little, just so you know.
that's the next question I asked, if you liked the name. Okay.
No, I wanted to be Elizabeth because I wanted to be called Beth. And
Okay.
I'm not sure. I probably had somebody in my life, you know, an older person who had the name Beth that I admired or whatever. But yeah, for whatever reason, I wanted Elizabeth, but never changed it.
Well, okay. So, this is a question to ask your mom now, who
I know.
By the way, I've gotten a chance
Yeah.
to meet Coach's parents too, and had the opportunity to sit with them during some gymnastics meets, and really great people, and just totally enjoy talking to your parents. And but so tell us about the early part of your life and when you first were introduced to gymnastics.
Yeah. Well, I'm born here in Lincoln. So
Okay.
mom and dad lived here. Growing up, I was like always really active.
Okay.
Both my parents did sports in high school. My mom, Title IX wasn't quite fully a thing, so it wasn't as organized as the sports that my dad participated in. But I think they knew early on that they wanted to get us involved in sports. One, to get us out of the house, because we're rambunctious kids.
Right.
And two, just understanding the disciplines or the life lessons that you learn through sport early on.
Yes.
I think was important for them. So about the age of 4, I think, is when I started gymnastics.
Okay.
I did swimming for a really long time alongside of gymnastics.
Okay.
Don't remember a lot of my early gymnastics career, like the classes and the recreational mom and me kind of classes.
Yeah.
But I always went here at Lincoln. There was a local club that I participated in called Nebraska School of Gymnastics.
Okay.
Started there and just kind of fell in love with it. And as you kind of learn in gymnastics, the time frame in which you have to commit to it to really go high level.
Yes.
I had to specialize pretty early on. So
okay.
I want to say that was probably around the age of 6, 7. I think you had to be 7 to compete team.
Okay.
And so I quit swimming and did just gymnastics from then on. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you think back to that time for you, and this is kind of an outside question, but what were little girls doing back then from an athletics perspective? Because, that's changed over time, right? Like different sports have kind of peaked at different eras in our time.
Sure.
And so back then, was it gymnastics and also perhaps swimming, or were there other sports that a girl's your age were doing?
That's a great question. I'm not 100% certain.
Uh-huh.
I believe gymnastics is one of the sports that you can get kids into at a really young age, and really kind of thrust them into the environment of, standing in line and waiting your turn and, you know what I mean? Strength and hand-eye coordination. Growing up around Nebraska, I grew up around Nebraska athletics in general. So my mom was volleyball player.
Okay.
So I do remember being involved or watching volleyball quite regularly. I'm not sure if I remember ever all my friends are doing volleyball and I want to do gymnastics.
Okay.
My closest friends were always my teammates.
I see.
In the gymnastics world. So to me, that was just, it was just my life. I mean, they would have football games. So back in the day, we would have practice at Maple Lee Hall, right?
Yes.
Which no longer exists.
Right.
And they would drop us off for practice for football games. And my parents would go to the football games and we would have open gym or whatever in the gym. So yeah, it just was a lot of fun for me just to be around it.
Yeah.
When we would go to the men's gymnastics meets, because they would sell out Devaney in the early 80s,
That's
right?
Right. Yes.
We would go play in the men's gym.
Okay.
And then I can remember doing volleyball or watching volleyball. I never did volleyball. I think my mom probably knew I was never going to be tall enough or coordinated enough to really be able to strategize how to hit a volleyball. But yeah. But other than that, we didn't really watch a lot of softball or basketball or soccer. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that really does give me some historical context because, of course, in the mid to late 80s, the volleyball program was growing. Softball was pretty big, like you said, at that time as well. On the men's gymnastics side, they were national champions, right? During that time frame.
Yeah.
So that was really big.
Yeah.
And, Devaney was there, and they would have sold that out. But you all were doing your sport at everybody else's thing.
Yes.
Right.
So, oh yeah. I mean, it was like playtime for us, right?
Yes.
Like I told you we would be in the men's gym and we would swing on their high bar, and the men's gymnasts would get so mad at us because we'd swing with no grips on and like strip the bar of all the chalk. And if you don't watch gymnastics, chalk is like everybody's, golden ticket to how you stay on the bar.
Yes.
And so, we would go in there, and Francis Allen, you leave those little kids alone, right? And we would just be like,
just
running
around
time. Like little brats, Yeah.
That's great. So it sounds like that was really from a very early point in your life, that was your world, gymnastics, right? So your friends are there, your family is participating, they're picking you up from going to the camp after school and different things like that. So tell me, because I can recall from just hearing a little bit about your story from you that there was this time that you take this next step and you had to actually like leave.
Right.
Lincoln,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Yeah. So early on, I had kind of progressed pretty quickly through gymnastics is all by levels. So, okay, well, I'm going to even date myself before it was levels, it was classes.
Okay.
And so, I had a great upbringing, had a lot of really influential coaches in my life that impacted me as an athlete or a gymnast at that point. And we had some turnover. So the coach that had really kind of, at that time that I really respected and that I had left, and then the next coach left, and then the next coach left. And at one point I had reached what is now called level 10.
I see.
And I was 11 going on 12.
Okay.
And I'm like, okay, I can either stay at this level for the next 6 years. Cause thankfully for me, I grew up around Nebraska gymnastics, like the collegiate program.
Right.
So I knew that there was college on the backside of this. But do I do the same level or the same gymnastics for the next 6 years, or do I have bigger aspirations? And really, the whole Olympic dream, right? I wanted to do the Olympics, and we would watch it every summer, and it would kind of like fuel you. And at some point, I had to move. Like the way the elite clubs worked at the time, it wasn't like spread out all over the country, and you would have these camps.
Okay.
You just had certain satellite programs that really specialized in elite gymnastics.
I see.
And so at that point, I went to my parents. It was never anything, it was a lot of investment and commitment from them as well. Time, money, everything.
Absolutely.
And so we went and tried out at a couple different gyms, one which was in Kansas City area, and another one in Oklahoma City, which is where one of my coaches had moved to. And ultimately I decided that I wanted to follow her.
Okay.
And so, at 12 years old, I moved to Oklahoma City.
Wow.
It was
12 years old.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
At the time, like, I don't know if I just was always that independent, but at the time, I don't think I'm sure my parents were concerned, but I don't know that they were like worried that something was going to happen or, all these things. Now I think about my kids at 12. I have a son that's 13. I'm like, oh my God, what would I do?
Yes, if you sent him away, right?
Like, could he balance a checkbook? Like, does he know how to use a debit card? Can he, get himself showered and ready to go for practice that day without the constant reminders?
Right.
So, I don't know. I mean, because I didn't really have anybody in front of me, meaning I was the oldest child.
Yes.
I don't know if that's just how I always was, or if there were reasons or specific people, but I just knew this is what my dream was. And in order to really do that, I had to make that commitment and kind of pick up a move.
That's amazing. So you moved to Oklahoma City at 12, and that coach that you were mentioning was there. And so what was that? What was that reunion like?
I mean, I went down there and tried out. So like I got to see her, and more so there was another head coach, got to kind of meet him and spend some time with him. It was definitely a shift in really how serious the sport gets from, like, I loved gymnastics up, here in Lincoln, and it was my life. And, I played making up floor routines in the backyard. Right.
Right.
And that shift to going into elite is just, it's a whole nother step of you were going from maybe 25 hours a week to 40 plus.
Wow.
In the gym, working out, trying to fit school in and all of those things. So moving down there, it was comfortable to me because I knew her. But the uncomfort of everything else that was coming at me was definitely a shock to the system. I actually lived with her.
Oh, okay. Okay.
When I first moved down there. Yeah, it's kind of a whole story.
That's
but
a story. Yeah.
So that was that, I guess because I knew her, it was comfortable that way, but it's never your mom and dad, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And so there's, and for folks listening, and just you talking about this experience and having to go to that elite level, and being away from home and dealing with all those dynamics at the same time, dealing with this absolute ratcheting up of all the things that you were doing here that you truly enjoyed. Was there ever a point when you were going through all of that, you kind of lost that joy and love of the,
I mean, after I was there for so long, I would say that was the case. I mean, the first couple of months were really hard. I was in 8th grade, right? So like you think about having grown up with your school friends and like having a level of comfort of just kind of going to the same schools, knowing people, and you move to another state. And by 8th grade, you're pretty established to some degree in your circle of friends. That was really hard for me. And then I'm not even at school all day.
Right.
I can remember we used to have to run laps around the building for warm-ups. And there was a van that looked like my parents' van across the street. And I would cry every time I'd run the lap, from being so homesick.
Yes.
And then, I mean, I just think the emotional, like, okay, it's me. If I really want this dream to happen, my parents are supporting me, obviously, financially, and making it all happen. But if I'm going to make this happen, like, suck it up, buttercup, you know what I mean? And get the job done. So eventually you kind of become a little, I don't want to say closed off from it, but you just kind of stop processing some of those emotions. We used to, within like the first couple of weeks I was there, we were training bars for like a couple hours. My whole palm of my hand, like, just ripped off, right? Like it just ripped open. And I'm like falling purposely because I'm like, I want him to kick me out. I want to get off of this piece of equipment as fast as I possibly can.
Yeah.
And he did. He kicked me out and I had to come back and do a private lesson that night and finish my assignment. And I was like, well, that was really stupid. I took all those turns trying to get kicked out, right?
Yeah.
Got kicked out, had to come back, and now I have to take extra turns. So I should have just done the job when it was. So there were times where like very clear lessons I learned along the way.
Yeah.
That have stuck with me in that process.
Right.
But it was hard. It was really hard. I think at the end, I actually moved back home. I graduated high school a year early.
Oh, wow.
Which was always the plan because the Olympic year was my senior year of high school.
Okay.
But anyways, I graduated early, fell out of love with the sport. I quit for a semester. Yeah.
Really?
But I had already committed to college.
Okay.
And moved back home. Came back and was kind of like just playing in the gym for a while. So coming back even into college was a rude awakening for me as well, because I had gone from this drill sergeant kind of area to now like having freedom to now like I'm not where I was when they recruited me. Right. And I really got to kind of pick it up to earn my spot, and just kind of having to try to manage that all over again was, it was challenging.
So it sounds like there were just so many different things that were happening for you as you went through that process, but you continued to improve though, right? While you were down in Oklahoma City. And talk to us just about what that was like to be a part of that team. And did you have other people who were kind of coming and going in that space from that perspective that, or do you still have friends that you're friends with to this day that were in that gym, or how does that go?
I mean, it's kind of like going to battle together, right?
Yes.
Like it's definitely an individualized battle because you're every day just trying to survive your own battle. But I think you become really close friends with those particular people while they're also your competitors.
Absolutely,
right? So
yes.
even though you're training at the same gym,
right,
and you're all training to try to make this national team or the world championship team or Olympic team, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And there's only so many of you that can do it. And the likelihood of even multiple people from the same gym
yes.
doing that is, just gets slimmer and slimmer by the margin. So that was an interesting dynamic. Like, how can you continue to be friendly or best friends with these people, but also knowing that, do they have your best interest on the backside of that? So yeah, I mean, that dynamic was, I think, forced me to be really independent.
Yes.
But I would still say they're close friends because we went through so much together.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, you survive that kind of competitive environment, having faced, they see you at your worst.
Yes.
And they see you at your best.
At your best. Yeah.
Right. And really, you kind of now as an adult look back and go, man, we were really there for each other.
Yes.
So I don't know that we pick up the phone and call each other every single day, but when we get a chance to, reminisce about the memories and the trips, it's obviously never really about the gymnastics. It's always about all the other in between times.
Yes.
I think that's where the connection really was built, is, just having those environments. And I'm still really close to the host family that I lived with.
Okay, so you did go to a host family after you moved out with the coach.
I lived with my coach, who was dating the other coach at the time. And the goal was to always find a host family. So then I moved in with one host family that didn't necessarily work out. Whole nother story.
Yeah.
And then eventually I moved in with who I now consider to be my host family. So I lived with them for the majority of my time that I was down there. I would consider them my second family for sure. Still
great.
talk to
so good supportive people that you were living with there.
They just saw me as a human, not necessarily just the gymnast.
Gotcha.
And that part I really needed in that environment.
Right.
And I felt like I was accepted as part of their family, and not just, some random kid that's living in a bedroom off to the side. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, wow. So much there. And I think, it's just, it's great that, we have you here in the studio today talking about this. So, ladies and gentlemen, when we get back, we're going to talk about that transition into college with Heather. And, we're just getting so many great lessons from her today on this show. And so it's great to be with you here on 93.7 The Ticket. You're listening to The Law of Lift with Dr. Lawrence Chatters.
Play ball! Pitch the perfect idea for a family outing or date night with tickets to the next Salt Dogs game. Nothing says summer fun like an action-packed evening at Haymarket Park. Come root for the home team with a hot dog and a cold drink. Plus, visit saltdogs.com to learn about special events and promotions, including group discounts. Don't miss out on the thrill and excitement of a Salt Dogs win. Visit saltdogs.com to reserve your tickets today.
Have you been injured in an accident and don't know where to turn? You need an attorney you can trust to handle your case with professionalism and compassion. The attorneys at Liberty Law Group understand that a call to an attorney is a call for help. If you've been injured, we want to help you. Liberty Law's experienced attorneys are committed to the pursuit of justice for those injured. Call Liberty Law Group and find out how we can help get you the compensation you deserve. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. 877-42-LIBERTY. Liberty Law Group. Trial attorneys you can trust.
Grandma and Grandpa, Mom and Dad, then the kids, and now the grandkids. Judson Irrigation has provided lawn sprinkler system design, installation, repair, and service to 4 generations. They're just like members of the family. Loyalty, trust, service. It's what you deserve and expect from Judson Irrigation.
Keep summer green. Call Judson Irrigation 402-420-6277 or judsonirrigation.com.
Looking for a fun way to give back? Join us for the 2025 Kicks for Kids Nebraska Fun Run Walk, presented by Pinnacle Bank, on Saturday, August 23rd at James Arthur Vineyard. Enjoy a scenic 5K through beautiful grounds. Every step helps provide shoes to kids in Lincoln and Lancaster County schools, with options for adults, wine included, and kids. Registration fees include a t-shirt, medal, and bag. Sign up today and make a difference at kicksforkidsnebraska.org.
MHC isn't a new company, just a new name. Moe's Moving is now Moe's Home and Commercial. Whether moving across town or across the state, MHC Moving has you covered, specializing in home, apartment, assisted, and independent living moves. MHC can handle your commercial moves as well. MHC Moving has 0 hidden fees. You'll never pay for same-day booking or be charged for stairs, heavy items, or elevator fees. Rates are the same Monday through Saturday, and you will never pay a truck or fuel surcharge. And they offer payment plans through PayPal. Call MHC Moving today at 402-853-7167 or go to mhcmoving.com.
Are you a skilled mechanic looking for your next opportunity? Nebco is hiring. They're looking for experienced mechanics to join our family-owned team. They offer competitive wages, great benefits, service trucks, OEM-level diagnostic software, and career growth opportunities. Apply today at nebco.com. Positions include lead and A-level mechanics for the Nebco shop. Learn more at nebco.com. If you're driven and ready to grow with a company that's been around since 1908, apply today at nebco.com.
Breaking here at the news desk. When you stack Allo Internet, DirecTV, and mobile, you can lock in your price for 2 years. Sources are confirming that when you stack Allo Internet, DirecTV, and mobile, your monthly price drops and you're locked in for 2 years. That's fiber fast internet, premium streaming TV, and reliable nationwide mobile coverage. And this just in, you must switch by Labor Day to secure that locked-in pricing for 2 years. Switch, stack, and save at allofiber.com/stack.
Hi, Sean Callahan here of HuskerOnline.com, inviting you to join us here on 93.7 The Ticket every Saturday morning. Now in our new time, we're on from 8 to 9 with the weekly Husker Online radio show. We'll give you the latest in recruiting. We'll talk about what's going on with both football, basketball, and we'll probably share a few stories from the inside. It's every Saturday morning right here on 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Husker Online radio show from 8 to 9 a.m.
Hi, I'm Eli Barnes, Assistant Vice President at Midwest Bank at the 70th and Pioneers and 27th Jamie Lane locations. I love working with families and small businesses right here in Lincoln, Nebraska. Banking shouldn't be complicated, and that's why we make it personal. Whether it's opening your child's first account or securing a loan for your next big step, I'm here to help. Stop in today and say hello. I'd love to meet you. Your community, your bank. Midwest Bank, member FDIC.
Attention all Wings fans, Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays enjoy 40% off boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.39 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Wings and Rings today, 68th and O or in Williamsburg Village.
What's better than supporting your favorite radio station and eating delicious Nebraska-made products? Smoking Gun Jerky of Nebraska wants to highlight you, the listener, on the 93.7 The Ticket Wall of Fame at the store. Stop by the store at 48th and R in Lincoln and see their huge variety of small batch gourmet jerky. Or if you're not in the area and want to try some, go to smokinggunjerky.com and enter code EARLY for 10% off your purchase. It's the ultimate low-calorie, high-protein snack at Smoking Gun Jerky of Nebraska.
Now back to the Law of Lift with Dr. Lawrence Chatters on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Lincoln, Nebraska, we're back. It's 93.7 The Ticket. It's the Law of Lift with Dr. Lawrence Chatters. And I have Coach Heather Brink in the studio with me today telling us about her journey as a gymnast. And, you know, if you think about gymnastics, and some of you may have some experience with it, others do not. What I can tell you is that these are pound for pound some of the strongest people I've ever seen in my life. I mean, it just takes a lot to get to that point where you can do these amazing things. And that's what, you know, I always have recognized is just looking at that. It looks really graceful, but it's very, very difficult. And so, you know, when I think about that concept of graceful yet difficult, I also think of sometimes people see people in positions and they're like, how did you get there? Right. And you get to that top position when you're, you know, the highest level you might be in your field, and people have no idea what's behind the story. And so one of the things that I like to do on the Law of Lift is just really give people a behind the scenes look at just how challenging it is to get off the ground and how tough it is, how much energy, time, commitment, and discipline it takes for people to get to where they are. Because I think, you know, we don't talk enough about that period of time. We see people at their pinnacle. Sometimes we see people at a very challenging point in their life. And there's so much in between. And so you're giving us the foundation right now of like how you fell in love with the sport, fell out of love with the sport, went through some things, like grew up as a young adolescent, you know, girl who's kind of going through all this other stuff away from home in Oklahoma City. And we've now gotten to that point where you come back to Lincoln and you talked a little bit about, you know what, you're just perhaps done with it. You took some time off, but you had already committed to Nebraska, right? So then you start as a collegiate Division I gymnast. Tell us a little bit about that transition for you and your journey.
Oh, I'm sure my teammates have some stories, but I think the biggest transition for me is I thought I had life so figured out, right? Like I had been living basically on my own, for a majority of my early teens.
Yeah.
And then coming into this collegiate setting, like I thought I knew everything, right? And I had no idea what a team dynamic was.
I see.
How my actions interact or interconnect with other people on the team and how that impacts them as teammates, but also as the full team.
Yeah.
And that was really challenging for me to really kind of grasp. A lot of big mistakes, more so mentally or just egotistically, probably, in that space of trying to figure out where I fit in. You're trying to like express, you know what I mean? Like I belong here. I was already struggling probably in the gymnastics realm to some degree because I had taken the time off. I wasn't where I maybe thought I should be or where they recruited me initially at.
Yeah.
And so kind of trying to figure out that space, but also from a friendship and a teammate dynamic, that part was hard. I never really had to do those things, right? You never have. Club wise, you're like, so your life revolves around gymnastics. It is, you wake up, you go to practice, you go to school, you go back to practice, you come home, you do homework, you go to bed, do it all over again, six days a week, right? So there's really no social decisions.
I see.
There's no decisions of like, I've now got to, make friends or be respectful to somebody or like make a connection or build a relationship with somebody else.
I see.
And so that dynamic was kind of a struggle for me personally. Thank God I had great people in my corner, patient with me and, just kind of helping me evolve and really just allowing me to make the mistakes and not kind of like excluding me because of those mistakes.
I see.
So yeah, it was good. But I really, that freshman year really learned to love the sport in a whole nother way than I really anticipated. It challenged me in new ways, which was exciting for me.
Yeah.
It, pushed me to kind of evolve as a human. And then once you kind of understand through my sport, I can make the impact, right?
Yes.
To other human beings or other little girls.
Yes.
Because I was once that little kid, right?
Right.
Then it really kind of pushed me to continue to evolve. It probably wasn't until my junior year
Uh-huh.
where I really feel like I had things a little bit more figured out and kind of settled and comfortable in my role. I think maybe that's a good way to say it.
Okay.
I just don't feel like my freshman and sophomore year, I knew what my role was.
I see.
Right?
I see. Yeah.
Maybe even individually, like myself, who I was to authentically bring something to a role on the team. So that dynamic was a challenge. Junior, senior year, I think I figured out a little bit more that important side of team chemistry and team culture and really kind of trying to build a team community.
Yeah. And how many young women were on the team back then?
I don't remember every single year. It's funny you asked this because just last year I brought in my media guide because we used to do media guides back then. On my team, we had 12 kids.
Wow. Okay. So
12.
much smaller you all.
Yeah.
Like if you don't know now, usually they're anywhere between like 16 to 20?
Yeah, I would say closer to 20, probably
yeah.
most of them, but yeah, 16 to 20 is a good range.
So yeah, that being a smaller team, what's interesting about that, you all, is that I do think one of the benefits of having larger teams sometimes is that you have more diversity of groups that can form. And usually it's going to be anywhere 3 to 4.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And with a smaller team, it's like, if you're not in, you may not be in. Right.
Right. Right.
So,
right. Yeah. I would. And I don't think anybody necessarily intentionally, was like, oh, you're not in. I think, they had kind of think about the seniors, right? Like they have their circle of friends, they have their own things going on. Right. And so then you have this young class. And in my opinion, I was probably even more immature than just the general freshman coming in.
Yeah.
Just not having had some
that
of those
interaction.
Yeah.
And that's a great point you bring up, Coach, because I think that one of the things that's probably evident in the space is that sometimes you do have this difference in personality and also exposure when you bring in an athlete to a gymnastics team that has been in the club space more significantly versus someone who's coming out of a high school where they did all those things. And And I kind of even could see that dynamic a
Yeah.
little bit. It's just
Yeah.
there's a difference,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I mean, we're competing as individuals.
Yes.
Right. In the sport of gymnastics, club wise, you're competing as individuals. And even though you're a part of a team,
Right.
what your teammate doesn't directly impact you.
Yeah.
Right. And it still is that case in collegiately.
Yes.
But what you do does impact the team's outcome.
Absolutely.
Who you are as a teammate or a person does impact the outcome of the team, right?
Yeah.
But in the club setting, you fall 5 times, you only impact yourself. You know, you have no bearing on what happens to the next person. So that part it can be and is still
Yeah.
kids struggle with it.
Yeah.
Can be a challenge to kind of just really get used to. Oh, now I have to start thinking about these other people. It's not just
Right.
what I want in that moment. It doesn't matter if I want, 5 mats in the corner because they only want 2.
Yeah.
If there's the majority of them only want 2, you're going with 2,
You're
not
going with
5.
2. Yeah,
Like that's part of being a team. Where other team sports, right? Like you're either playing offense or defense. We just don't have that.
Right. Yeah. It's very, very individual in that way. And the way you talked about having an impact on other people on the
Mhm.
team, I can always remember just how energy can shift on a team,
Yeah,
right? And
yeah.
in the collegiate space where there is that team score and you're all working together, a fall can kind of mean something different
Right,
than it does in
right.
the club space,
Yeah,
right? Because you're like, oh, okay, well, that person might have fallen. I still need to do really well, but maybe it doesn't have that same psychological impact as it does when you are contributing your score to that team
Right,
score.
right.
And then all of a sudden it's like, okay, that was our one that we have to drop,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
So
well, in club, when you fall, the only person it hurts is you.
That
right?
makes sense.
And
yeah.
and nobody wants to fall.
That's right.
Nobody wants to make the mistake.
Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah.
In college, you now are worried about if I make a mistake, I'm now costing all of their sweat, blood, and tears
Yes.
potentially for the year
Yeah.
in the outcome.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's win or loss. There's no like, oops, that was a bad play. Let's try a different one. Like
Right.
it's just one turn. You make a mistake and it falls solely on the shoulders of one person
Yeah.
in that space. And it can, be a challenge sometimes from a performance pressure side to
Yes.
like, we'll talk about myself. Like I always on balance beam, I wanted to go first. Like I was like, I don't care if you think I'm the best person, put me up first. Cause I don't want the pressure if somebody else makes a mistake in front of me
Yeah.
to like be in that position. I don't think I will do good at it. And I just wanted to get up and get off the beam. So everybody kind of has their own
Thing.
events,
Yes,
right?
yes.
That they struggle or enjoy competing or like to be last or first or in the middle. But yeah, I mean, I think just now having to be in tune with wanting to perform for them
Mhm.
is a big growth.
Yeah.
Not just I am performing for them,
Right.
wanting to perform for them and
Yeah.
get the outcome so that, you know what I mean? That
Yeah.
contribution is there.
And so
Yeah.
the same way that can be challenging, I mean, and you all like Heather wasn't just a typical athlete when she did what she did. She was one of the best in the country. And so the same way that can negatively impact you, I think it can positively impact you
Mhm.
too, right? When you
Mhm.
know that you're putting up an
Mhm.
amazing score for
Yeah.
your team.
Yeah.
When you know that you going first and you doing really well is going to set a standard and a high level expectation that, hey, others, let's all do this together. We're all
Right.
lifting this team up together and doing really well. So tell us about that junior and senior year and when you really kind of hit the peak of your
Yeah.
collegiate career.
Yeah. I mean, I think my junior year, I really kind of figured out how to be authentic to myself and what I needed as an individual. And then going into my senior year, I really connected with the freshman class. They really kind of pushed me, to evolve as a leader.
Mhm.
And really was able to kind of make those connections. And once I made those connections, they weren't always coming to me for advice, but I was able to give advice and to see that kind of pay off
Yes.
was a reward for me. Right.
Awesome.
Like
Yeah.
it really kind of gave me a sense of like, oh my gosh, I can impact people beyond just what I'm actually providing as an outcome as a score. Right.
Yes.
And for sure the score is important,
Right.
but I can help them and both athletically and as a leader
Mhm.
was important. It was just an important evolution for me.
Yeah.
And figuring that process out. And then those relationships just became really connected.
Yeah.
And I think about my senior year, our team really was fully aligned in what the team goal was. And that for me, it was a big difference maker. From seniors down to freshmen, we were all really committed to that entire process and made sacrifices, that you maybe hadn't seen on other teams, and really made it a priority to try to elevate the program.
That's amazing. So it sounds like your role that year was really as a leader. You had a role as a leader, and you also had a role as just making sure that the freshmen who were on the team understood what the overall objective was and how you all were going to accomplish those goals. And so what did that team your senior year accomplish, and what did you accomplish that senior year?
Yeah. So that senior year, the way NCAA championships worked, we qualified onto NCAA championships. I think my freshman year, we had done this as well. But then we qualified onto Super Six. Wow. We were not in the top 6 ranked teams in the country going into that competition.
I see.
I'd have to look up statistically what we were, but maybe stats don't go back that far. but yeah, so I don't think we were actually in the top 6, but we were able to qualify on to the Super Six.
Wow.
I think in that moment, for me as an individual competitor, you're competing for your team to qualify onto this. Like this was our goal, to be able to do this.
Yes.
That you lose sight of the individual statistics. So it wasn't until at the end because on the first day is when they determine all of the NCAA all-around champions. We finished on floor. And I came off the floor, and you're celebrating because the score, as a team, you've now qualified on to the Super Six. And I can't remember if it was Dan or our sports information person, but they came over and they were like, you won the all around. I mean, I didn't even know the statistics, like going into it. Like, it wasn't like I was like, oh, if I score this on this event, I'm going to win. Like I wasn't even keeping track of it. So very kind of like blindsided by that. But it was pretty surreal to know that giving the right things my attention produced probably the best results overall, right? So then we went on to Super Six that day, or that next day, and we finished 4th in the country. So that was like the highest Nebraska gymnastics had finished at the time. So,
oh my goodness. Well, that's absolutely amazing. And so, we continue to hear, just heard a little bit about the journey in college for Coach, and we're hearing a lot of great jewels from her on this the show today, and just sharing a lot about the importance of being a part of a team and having influence over your teammates and how that impacts you and the positive things that come from that. And we have so much more of that left after this break, but you're listening to The Law of Lift with Dr. Lawrence Chatters and Coach Heather Brink of the Nebraska women's gymnastics team right here on 93.7 The Ticket.
Saturday. Eagle Raceway is open for a full season of dirt track racing action every Saturday night. Don't miss the epic battles on the high banks of Eagle Raceway each Saturday between the Nebraska Septic Sprint Cars, Nebraska Lottery Modifieds, Avid Realty Sport Mods, Valentino's Hobby Stocks, and A1 Iron Stock Cars. Let's go racing. Eagle Raceway, just 10 miles east of Lincoln on O Street. Check out the full schedule at eagleraceway.com.
Are you a skilled mechanic looking for your next opportunity? Nebco is hiring. They're looking for experienced mechanics to join our family-owned team. They offer competitive wages, great benefits, service trucks, OEM-level diagnostic software, and career growth opportunities. Apply today at nebco.com. Positions include lead and A-level mechanics for the Nebco shop. Learn more at nebco.com. If you're driven and ready to grow with a company that's been around since 1908, apply today at nebco.com.
We interrupt this commercial break for an important story.
There once was a man from Nebraska who went searching for food in Alaska. When his stomach was rumbling while laying in bed, he could think of only one option, Fuhrer's cheese spread. So he left it once and drove day and night to return back home for cheese spread delight. Now his stomach is full and the voice in his head tells him no more vacations without Fuhrer's cheese spread. Find yours today at most local grocers.
Are you looking for an exciting new way to put your skills to work? Explore new career options in the fintech industry at Currency, a Sandhills global company. We offer full-time positions in financial sales, compliance, operations, and other fields. We also offer a 4.5-day work week, an attractive benefits package, and opportunities for advancement. Put your motivation to work and grow with us at Currency. Visit gocurrency.com/careers to learn more.
Ready to score big with your projects? Look no further than Edward Stone, the MVP of natural stone for over 2 decades. Edward Stone is cranking out over 30,000 square feet every week and offers a winning lineup of over 70 quality natural veneer stone selections. Their unbeatable variety and experienced team will ensure your project is a success, whether it's a home renovation or a commercial build. And hey, they're not just about stone. They've got an all-star lineup of fireplaces, cast stone, brick, and much more. Swing by one of their locations in Lincoln or Omaha today and experience the Edward Stone difference, your reliable choice for over 20 years.
Ticket listeners know a dream team when they see one. At Applied Connective, we've been in the game for 20 years and have developed a team of world-class leaders in all things IT. From cybersecurity and Microsoft products to physical security, audio, video, infrastructure, business phone systems, and anything in between. We'll help you leverage technology to become your most secure, efficient, and profitable. Head to our website to check out real reviews and testimonials and sign up for a free tech consultation. We can show you where you might be vulnerable, inefficient, or overspending. It's a game changer, and it's totally free. Claim yours right now at appliedconnective.com.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
Now back to the Law of Lift with Dr. Lawrence Chatters on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
That's right, Lincoln, Nebraska. You're back. You're listening to the Law of Lift. If you're out there cruising around on this wonderfully hot day, hopefully your air conditioner is working. It's hot. It's a hot one. And, we have an amazing guest in here today who is talking to us about her journey as a student athlete. And we're going to talk more about her being a coach next hour. Just a teaser for you all. We're going to talk more about her being a coach next hour. But we're here with Coach Heather Brink from Nebraska women's gymnastics in that program. And, she just was talking about finding out that she was the all-around champion for women's gymnastics when she was a senior, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you all, when I heard that, I mean, first of all, it's if you know anything about gymnastics, it's so difficult, and the right things have to happen at the right time. And that's one of the things that became more evident to me as I was around the student athletes and around you as a coach, is just the importance of the right things happening at the right time. Because, every single routine essentially has to be, again, it's the perfect thing, right? Perfect. And then you talk about the perfect 10 in that regard. So, you get to this pinnacle of your career, your senior year, and talk to us a little bit about, you all end up number 4th in the country that year, and then it's time for you to move on. So talk to us about kind of like the end of your career and then what you did next after that.
Yeah. So my eligibility ran out. I still had one more year of college to graduate. So I stayed on. Originally, I was going to be a manager, a student manager. And during that portion of the year, one of the assistant coaches left. And so they just kind of had stuck me in. Now I had no like actual power per se. I was just there as kind of the coach at that point. So that really kind of gave me my first taste of what I consider to be collegiate coaching.
I see.
And just kind of being introduced to all the things that as a student athlete, you have no idea what's happening.
Right.
Right. In the office setting or behind the scenes space of it. So that was kind of my first introduction, but that still wasn't what I was going to do. I had my business degree. I loved math. I really wanted to do actuarial science at the time when I was in school. So I took a job in sunny Arizona because I was like, I'm going to go somewhere where it's nice year round.
Right.
It's hot year round. Right. And so moved down there by myself, took a job for a retirement planning business.
Okay.
Did that for, it was about a year. And then I really was like, I kind of missed the gym. Like it just felt a calling to kind of get back into it. So I found a local gym, started coaching some classes, some recreational classes, had to coach up some cheerleaders and, teach them how to tumble and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then that kind of turned into helping out with their compulsory team. And then that turned into helping out with their optional team. And at some point there was another club that had a full-time opening, and I had gone to we got married in that time frame. I went to my husband and I was like, I think this is what I want to do. And he's like, go for it. And I was like, okay, it's going to be a pay cut, like we're not getting rich off of this.
Right.
And he was totally supportive. So I did. So I coached at a club down there, full time for about 3.5 years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then we decided to start a family. And when we decided to start a family, we moved back here to Nebraska.
Okay.
And when we moved back to Nebraska, there was no clubs here that can pay a salary to support a family from a club coaching dynamic at the time. Anyways, I guess I don't know what the going rate is today, and there was no opening collegiately. So I went and worked at Emeritus for 5 years.
Okay.
I started a family, worked there, went back to the retirement planning portion of it.
I see.
Loved my experience there. And then in the summer of 2011, the prior head coach, Dan Kendig, called me up and said, I want you to apply. I had applied for the job, the prior opening, when I lived in Arizona and did not get hired. So when he called and said, I want you to apply, I said, I will apply, but you need to tell me I'm getting hired first, because I'm not going to do this all over again.
As the HR people listening cringe, right?
And so, no, I think we had a pretty good joking relationship way that I could kind of give him the insight. So I applied, got the job, did the whole interview process, everything else. Got the job in 2011 and took off from there.
So between when you left here as a student athlete, was that 2002 or 1?
I graduated in 01.
In 01.
Yep,
so you left and then you're back here as a coach 10 years later, right?
Yeah.
And when you think about that time in between, of course, being in Arizona, coming back here and working in that professional space, what were some of the biggest challenges for you just being in that professional space because it sounds like you had the professional, but then you really wanted to lean back into gymnastics. There was something calling you back. What was missing in that professional space?
I mean, I think as an athlete, you're driven to find that competitive nature, right? And it was really kind of trying to find that, fill that void, right? Like you leave the sport that your life revolved around, right?
Yeah.
From the age of 4 to the age of 22, right? 18 years. And you're like, oh my God, what do I do now? Like, how do I identify myself? What do I do? So you kind of go into the business side. I thought, oh, I'll just get immersed in this. It'll be great. No major, you know what I mean? Like I could leave work, go home, not have to worry about doing things, right?
Right.
And it was nice for a little while, but then you like start, what's next? Like, what's the next thing I can achieve? And what's the next thing? And you kind of start to see the path of that is just written differently than the athletic side of things. So, really in kind of search of feeling like that was my home, I think is really what I missed. Being in part of when we talk about the HR, I always felt like I was in trouble for like being too loud or like I was, doodling too much in my office meeting. So just kind of having that environment really opened my eyes. Like maybe this isn't the setting for me to be sitting behind a desk and a computer, 24/7. And not having that thing every day that kind of drives you to or challenges you to grow. And that was hard. What do you do to fill that void?
Right.
So I think kind of getting back into the gym was dipping my toe into how am I going to identify myself outside of Heather, the gymnast?
I see.
Yeah.
I see. So it was an identity thing. It was kind of like,
I think if I look back now, I really do think that that's what it was. It was more like, especially because how everything ended, that's how everybody knew me.
Right.
Right. Was like just on this cloud 9 of like, oh, you did all these great things in your gymnastics career and they know you as the NCAA all around champion.
Yes.
And, the gymnast and I judged you one time, or I used to like watch you or, So even today, I'll talk about this a little bit later next hour. I think to me, it's 2 different lifetimes.
Yeah.
It's 2 different people, and that evolution of really kind of figuring out who I was besides the competitive gymnast.
Right.
But still trying to figure out what drove me to want to, kind of grow as an adult, and whether that be through leadership or the business side of things was also part of the process for me.
So, ladies and gentlemen, she just teased up the next hour for us that we'll be talking about her time as a coach and these identity shifts that happen in our life. And we all experience those things but what she's talking about is life after being a champion. And that's an interesting concept. We'll talk more about that next hour. You're listening to 93.7 The Ticket, The Law of Lift with Dr. Lawrence Chatters and Coach Heather Brink.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
93.7 The Ticket is your home for every Kansas City Royals baseball game. Bobby Witt Jr., Salvador Perez, Vinny Pasquantino, and the rest of the Royals attempt to make the postseason for the second season in a row. And you can hear all the action on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Your home for Kansas City Royals baseball.
Have you been injured in an accident and don't know where to turn? You need an attorney you can trust to handle your case with professionalism and compassion. The attorneys at Liberty Law Group understand that a call to an attorney is a call for help. If you've been injured, we want to help you. Liberty Law's experienced attorneys are committed to the pursuit of justice for those injured. Call Liberty Law Group and find out how we can help get you the compensation you deserve. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. 877-42-LIBERTY. Liberty Law Group. Trial attorneys you can trust.
Mike, the insurance company wants us to replace the roof.
Wait, what? I thought everything was fine.
Yeah, it says right here our roof is too old and they won't be able to cover us anymore.
I guess it is 15 years old. Hi, I'm Austin with Roofing Service Company. We help homeowners with their roofing and siding projects. Financing options are available, and we can get you under a new roof no time at all. If this sounds like you, visit roofingservicecompany.com. That is roofingservicecompany.com.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Link to Literacy's third annual Wordstock event will be at Antelope Park on Saturday, August 23rd from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's a community book swap festival with fun for the entire family and for all ages. Enjoy food trucks, kids' activities, a reading corner with celebrity narrators, including Brian Helton, President and CEO, Director of Parks and Recreation, UNL athletes, and more. And of course, free books for all kids and adults. Go to linktoliteracy.org to get the full story and then make your plans to attend Wordstock.
There are great Mexican restaurants all over town, but there is one that is especially worth the drive from any part of town. Tacos Los Hermanos at 70th and Havelock. Cool off this summer with a delicious horchata or other special drinks, and grab one of their famous taco boxes for a group of friends or coworkers to enjoy, full of birria tacos and many other options. Don't forget their great desserts like tres leches, flan, and cheesecake. Get to Tacos Los Hermanos for lunch or dinner today at 70th and Havelock in Lincoln.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait. Apply now.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. You're listening to The Law of Lift with Dr. Lawrence Chatters. Real stories, powerful insights, and weekly inspiration to help you rise above life's challenges. Let's lift off with Dr. Lawrence Chatters on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Lincoln, Nebraska, it is 1 o'clock Central Standard Time in the center of the country, right here in the heartland. It's hot. You know, you're out there rolling around in your car, listening to some great radio. Radio is such a wonderful medium. We get to share amazing stories, and I have such an amazing guest in here with me today. We're listening to the story and the evolution of Coach Heather Brink Rennerfelt. I got the chance to work with her when I was working in Husker Athletics as an administrator, and just like I was saying, I got a chance to see just how passionate she was about the sport. And now I'm understanding more where that passion came from because of how much of your life this this sport has been a part of your life, right? And how much of your identity. And as we think about our identities and the things that we do in life that really bring us joy and purpose, gymnastics was a major part of that for you. And so now you're talking about that transition. We talked about 2001's the graduation. You go down to Arizona, you try the corporate thing. You are working in the retirement space with numbers and loving that, but also still feeling like there was something missing. And what was missing, I think, for you, as you talk about it now, is just that ability to consistently push yourself. And what I think was becoming more evident at that time, and honestly, this is probably where there were challenges with HR and such, you wanted to push others too.
Right.
You wanted to be able to encourage other people to fully realize their potential. And I think that's what you really do as a coach, is you get the most out of those young people that you possibly can. You help them find their purpose, their objective in the sport. And through that, they learn so many other things about themselves. They learn the discipline. And it sounds like from your experience with that journey, you wanted to return that favor in so many different ways and just be around the energy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, I think about my path to get there.
Yes.
I had so many important people in my life that really challenged me to grow.
Yeah.
And never really did it for me. Right.
Yes.
Like they really kind of pushed me to kind of see the potential myself. So I definitely think that having that impact in my life wired me
yes
a specific way to be able to be driven to kind of meet those challenges. And without really knowing what it was doing, it's just like, I'm going to show you, like, okay, let me meet your standards. Let me meet the next thing.
Right.
Now looking back, I see that as an adult and I go, it caused me to evolve as a human. And just really trying to figure out who I was in that realm of adulthood.
Yes.
I now had kids, right, at this point.
Yes.
And I really was kind of not struggling, but really just like, okay, I'm doing this job. It's consistent. I enjoyed it. I don't know if I was like overly passionate about it.
Right.
But I loved doing all things. Now, mind you, I was still here in Lincoln. So I was going to the sporting events, right? Like I was still doing those things and really kind of enjoying that side of things. So when the opportunity really presented itself, it really now became, okay, now how do I take where I am today in this side of things and shift it back into the sports world?
Wow.
To be able to utilize that to impact. I don't think I knew exactly what that path looked like coming in. I think I just knew that that's where I felt most comfortable and challenged myself. Knowing I didn't really have it all figured out. I was going to be along for the ride and learn from the people in front of me or above me and just really kind of take some of that in, which would then challenge me to kind of grow into who I am. I mean, coaching gymnastics is one thing,
right?
But all the other things you have to do and think about are a completely different side of that.
Absolutely. So, and just giving some context to our listeners. So Coach came back in as an assistant coach 2011. And by this time you have 2 kids, right?
I was hired. I was pregnant with my second.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was hired in July and I had my second one in November.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So, and just so you all that are listening understand this as well, one of the things that I've just noticed is challenging, of course, in the space of being a coach and how much time and effort it requires is that sometimes it's not conceivable to have family and also be a coach, right? And so you're navigating all these things are shifting. Now, of course, you have your identity as a professional, as a mom, as a wife, and now as a coach. So how did you reconcile all of those things and step into a space where, again, I'm not sure that previous people who were in the role came in with children and a family, and, but maybe.
Yeah.
But,
my husband also worked shifts, right? So he worked night shift. And so that, in my opinion, provided a whole nother level of challenge because prior to being a coach, I was there supporting him in his job. Not that I didn't have my own job, but and really kind of taking care of the kid and all of those things. And so as this kind of started to shift, it was a big shift in our family too, right? Because now he also has to play a different role in that support process as well. But I definitely could not have done this without my parents who live here in Lincoln, my husband's parents who live outside of Omaha. and really their support, because his job didn't just allow to shift
Right.
change,
Yeah.
right? Like you just have what you have and that's it. And it actually worked out. We settled in pretty good as far as I would go in and come home and do the kids at night, and he would go to work, but then he would do the mornings. But it's like two single parents.
Yeah.
You
Just
know?
kind of coming and going.
Yeah,
Two ships passing in the night.
Yeah, I talk about that all the time with
Yeah.
young coaches, young women coaches, right?
Yes.
And it seems like a challenge at the time, but I look back now and I'm like, it was just part of the story. It's part of the phase. It was part of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Every step kind of provides a different level of challenge. Like that was a challenge to some degree.
Yeah.
It was all great until I was on the road overnight.
Yeah.
And then when you're overnight, who's gonna watch the kids? There's no overnight daycare, right?
Yeah.
So that part could sometimes be a challenge. But thankfully, my husband was all in about it, and
Wow.
super supportive, and
Mm-hmm.
really he took more time off with the second kid than I did.
Mm-hmm.
He took off, I don't know, 2 or 3 weeks to stay home with the baby when he was born, and I was a week, and I was like, peace out, I'm going back to work. We got season in like a month.
Who had the kid, right?
Right, yeah, I know, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's just, though, that's a level of dedication. And honestly, you all, as I've noticed in athletics, there's just an expectation that you're there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
There's an expectation that, hey, things are still moving here. So yeah, you can take whatever break you need, but we need you back here. We need you refocused on, and again, it was November, right? So I mean, you're getting ready to kick that season off probably a month and a half after that.
And my first one. You know what I mean? Like
it
it was also like, I'm not even sure
right
what's about to happen. But yeah, so that part, I mean, Dan, the head coach at the time, was really, really good about like, bring the kids with you. You know, I'd bring them in occasionally. And, so thankfully he was very understanding for that. I think, like you said, being there was one thing.
Right.
Well, I need you there, so bring the kids with you if you have to, but be here.
Be here. Yes.
And so that part he was also really good with.
That's amazing. And again, you know, as you're listening to Coach's story, you're hearing all these other people who played a significant role. And I really appreciate you bringing that into the space, because I think, you know, as we do become who we are and we go through these trials and tribulations, there are definitely other people who are there, right? Like, and consistently there and supporting us and helping us to accomplish our goals and our objectives. And whether that's a coach or a parent or a significant other, a partner, or whatever the case might be, you know, it's great to hear those people brought into the space. And so as you think about being a coach early on in your coaching career, talk to us about some of the bigger challenges that you faced going from, again, being that student athlete, and now you're behind the scenes and you're seeing everything. There's all those dynamics that you have. You have a team now of how many young women that you're dealing with, right? Like, and how do you do that?
Yeah. I mean, I think the biggest space of growth for me was trying to find the empathy side of, right? As an athlete and an individual that's driven to excel.
Yes.
You're willing to put up with a lot of things, you know, to get there, and make a lot of sacrifices to try to accomplish those goals.
Right.
When you're trying to impact somebody else, you kind of have to now have a different perspective to be able to meet them somewhere. And like, maybe it might be in the middle. It's not just your idea, your boundary, or your black and white might be somebody else's gray space. And so being challenged to kind of be a little bit more open-minded and empathetic, and the approach could sometimes be more impactful than me just saying, too bad, like, go do X, Y, and Z, you know?
Yes.
But also trying to balance the, you know, I didn't have teenagers at the time. Both my kids were little. So even just trying to balance the, how do you motivate somebody that age?
Yeah.
Right. To continue to stay the path. And sometimes not taking it personal, was also a big challenge. And I made I look back and I'm like, oh my God, I made so many mistakes in that process. But without those mistakes, it wouldn't have allowed me the opportunity to really kind of learn, and to be challenged to continue to grow and find that important space. Once I figured it out, I think understanding the relationship space became really easy for me in that process. Kind of just naturally happened. And that part became really a big piece of my heart, because now you become attached to those people outside of who they are as the gymnast, which is what I wanted when I was the gymnast.
That's what
right?
you wanted. Yes.
And so once I kind of started to identify that space or that process for myself as an assistant, I really felt like I kind of was able to settle into that support role, because that's how I call the assistant coach, right? Support role of just doing the things necessary to keep things moving and really kind of protect the culture from the inside,
Yeah. And culture is and I'm glad you mentioned that word, because I think one of the things we'll talk about later is your shift to being a head coach from being an assistant,
right.
and kind of the ability to shape that culture from a higher level versus protect the culture that had perhaps been established, right?
Yeah.
Basically, you have the chance now to really shape the culture in so many different ways. You have the way to define it. You have the way to support it, protect it, all those things. And as an assistant coach, I think especially being a young assistant coach and just kind of learning more about who you have that you're dealing with, perhaps there is that culture protection component, because you have those closer relationships with those student athletes, and you can kind of see things. You can see the train before it goes off.
Yeah, I mean, they're willing. Most of the time, the student athletes are more willing or more open in speaking with an assistant coach, right? In some of the things that they become a little bit more in tune with.
Right.
I was also, the only female on staff at the time. So I think that just naturally set that process up for that. And I think just being able to really invest in them as human beings individually, I think really just allowed me a space to kind of understand authentically what meant a lot to me in that cultural or relationship building process.
That makes sense. And so when you think about all the time that you spent building relationships, and you said something earlier, it's really profound, in that you had to be able to tap into your empathy so that you could not necessarily be so focused on the task at hand, right? Like, you've got to get this specific skill learned, or you've got to so you tapped into your empathy side, and you're building relationships with these young women who are, going through their own stuff and coming here with all the challenges that they present with, and also a lot of the attributes and positive things that they come to the space with as well. So tell us a little bit about when it became more evident to you that this was something that, you had definitely made a proper transition into, and that this is exactly what you wanted to be doing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, as far as the coaching realm goes, because I don't know if I really ever saw, head coaching is how I have to have this platform, you know?
Right.
But I think it really became evident when I felt connected to the journey.
Okay.
And when that journey meant meaning to me, like I still to this day love challenging an athlete to reach a potential or a standard or a skill or something that they themselves don't necessarily identify that they're capable of achieving yet.
Wow.
And then they do it, right? Because it's a lot of, struggle and sweat and tears and, reminding them of their potential. And when they do it and that light bulb goes off, and I don't know, it still gives me goosebumps to think about.
Yeah.
It's almost like they're like, oh my God, I get it. I now see myself through your eyes.
I see.
And that has challenged them to kind of now reach the next level, whether that be as an individual or an athlete. But I love that process. Maybe not always in the middle of it, right?
Yeah.
But I love that process when that light bulb. So to me, that's always given meaning to the journey, is to find kind of those little golden eggs along the way and really try to challenge them to, meet it and grow themselves.
That's absolutely amazing. And so it's just neat to hear you talk about that, because I think as, we're all going through our challenges in life, and we do have those people who see more for us than we see for ourselves, to actually get to that point where you accomplish that goal that you've both set together. Sometimes the person who's getting the goal set for them is begrudging because they're like, I don't think I can do that, or that's going to be way too hard, or this is going to really stretch me out of my comfort zone. But when you get there, and as they say, as you climb the mountain and you get to the summit, you get to see the view, right? And you recognize, wow, I climb that mountain, right? And you look around and you're like, I guess I can climb this mountain, right?
Yeah.
And so that's amazing to hear about that. And it sounds like with the relationship that you've established with these student athletes, it's that much more rewarding because they recognize that you're not only there to see them accomplish the skill or do that thing, but you truly care about who they are as a person through that whole process.
Yeah. And I think I fell, it wasn't really like thrust upon me. I think I just fell into that role. You know what I mean? But I also think I had a mentor in front of me that really did the same things for me.
I see.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it became easy to kind of model those same things towards my student athletes. It's easy for me to now sit and look back at a lot of these things. I think in those moments, you don't necessarily recognize it as such in that process. But yeah, I mean, I think I just had good mentors and good people that at that time really invested in kind of supporting me and kind of creating who I was as an assistant coach at that moment.
Yeah. And so 2011, Nebraska women's gymnastics is already in the Big Ten, right?
It was our first year.
It was that first year.
Yeah, it was the first year in the Big Ten. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
my first year as a freshman was the first year in the Big 12.
I see.
My first year as a coach was the first year in the Big 10.
So
yeah. I know
that shift.
Let's hope we stay in the Big 10 for a
right,
while.
right. Yeah, no more transitions, right? So, but when you think about that, I mean, that's a whole new level of competition, I think, right? As I think about, the schools that are in different spaces and everything else, moving from the Big 12 to the Big 10, do you feel that things got more competitive or less, or what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, in the Big 12, there's just not as many schools that have gymnastics.
I see.
Obviously I was there as an athlete, so that space was a little bit different of an approach. So I don't know anything else in my coaching realm other than the Big 10.
Okay.
But I do know, I mean, just because in theory you have more teams, there's more competition.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yes.
And so that space certainly was, we kind of had to step up, that process of being able to compete for championships there. Yeah.
Excellent. So tell us about when Nebraska won their first Big Ten championship.
Yeah.
What year would that have been?
It was 2011.
Wow.
Yeah. So I think we went in. So Dan, obviously the head coach at the prior time, they had won their last Big 12 championship. So they won the championship the year before his Big 12. And it was one of his goals to win his first Big 10 championship
the first year being
right?
Okay.
So that was always, part of the conversation and how we're able to achieve that. At this point, my first year, I call it the honeymoon phase. You're just like, everything's great. I'm going to do what you tell me to do,
Yes.
And so I don't know, other than just knowing that I trusted him full-heartedly and following his lead and what needed to get done and the messages that, had to happen and how to go about doing those things. But yeah, it was pretty competitive. Michigan had won, I don't know, a majority of them.
Oh my goodness.
Up to that point. So, and then I can't remember if it was that year or maybe the next year. At any rate, there was another team that was doing really well that year. And they were like, oh, Michigan's a little bit weaker this year. It's our turn this year. And then in comes Nebraska.
In comes
we're
Nebraska.
Like, yeah.
You win it.
So I don't think we necessarily knew exactly how it was going to play out, but it was pretty exciting to be able to stand up there at the end of the competition.
So that's amazing. Your first year as an assistant coach, you win a Big Ten championship.
Yeah.
And that's outstanding. And once again, you kind of talked about this identity, right? And so here you are back on a team that's excelling and achieving at a very high level. And again, after that first year, you've made this transition from, in the corporate professional world, and you're in the coaching space and you're back in athletics and everything else. So what a whirlwind of a year.
Yeah. It was a little crazy, but I do look back and see both sides of my life and go, okay, the club coaching taught me a lot about coaching gymnastics.
Yes.
And how to bring the technical knowledge. My business side of things brought so much more evolution and knowledge on how it works behind the scenes.
Yes.
Now, how do you kind of combine the two of those and manage, a job of two totally different roles? Is what I feel like I learned the first couple of years as an assistant coach.
So finding some balance then.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, you're in the office only 4 hours, 5 hours, whatever.
Right.
And then you're in the gym 4 hours. Right.
Yeah.
So, now doesn't reduce the number of things you have to do in the office.
That's right.
It doesn't reduce the impact that you have to make in the gym.
Mm-hmm.
It's just about strategizing. I think you hit on this earlier. I can get very oh, we're here to do a job and we're in the gym and this is what we're going to do. And here's the lesson plan. And and sometimes just slowing down to enjoy the moments in between, I think was a good learning process for me to like just take a deep breath, enjoy the present moment of what is in front of you, and don't take any one side too seriously.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So it's awesome to just hear about your evolution and your development over the course of this time, and just the shift in your identity as well, and all the things that are happening around you, and then also recognize that again, you are doing so much, right? Like, I mean, probably getting home extremely late because you're in the gym, and all these different types of things. So would you say that during this time frame, was there ever a time based on the balance of your life where, you've got your family, you've got this job, and you're doing all this stuff? Was there ever a time that you were kind of questioning, like, is this exactly where I'm supposed to be right now?
Never.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I love the University of Nebraska. I love Lincoln, Nebraska. I mean, I just feel like I've tried in my life to do different things, and I keep coming back to where I feel most comfortable and most at home and passionate about, making the impact. And I loved my job. I never got up in the morning and was like, oh, I have to go to work today. No, I was always excited about the prospect of, obviously some days were more challenging than others, but certainly every day excited to get in. It brought a new challenge every day. Somebody else needs your attention, or something else is happening, or you're, working on recruiting or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I loved my job.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And for you all listening, we kind of go through these different parts of our life where you're trying to find your purpose. And I think you're speaking to this absolute convergence and intersection of really what your passion is and what you get to do, right? What your passion is gymnastics and people, and working with people, and pushing people, and pushing yourself. And you found the perfect opportunity to make that connection. So as we continue to hear from Coach Brink here on the Law of Lift today, I want you to just be picking up some of these wonderful jewels she's dropping about, personal development and the evolution of her leadership and who she is as a person and a coach. It's just amazing to spend some time with her. You're listening to the Law of Lift. We'll be right back after this on 93.7 The Ticket.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize to participate in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the KNTK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeited. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
Have you been injured in an accident and don't know where to turn? You need an attorney you can trust to handle your case with professionalism and compassion. The attorneys at Liberty Law Group understand that a call to an attorney is a call for help. If you've been injured, we want to help you. Liberty Law's experienced attorneys are committed to the pursuit of justice for those injured. Call Liberty Law and find out how we can help you get the compensation you deserve. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. Call the trial attorneys you can trust. 877-42-LIBERTY.
This is Bill Mitchner, Executive Director of Lincoln Lighthouse. Did you know Lighthouse provides multiple programs for students such as one-on-one tutoring and mentoring, as well as pro-social skill exercises, while providing them a nourishing meal and a safe space during all months of the year, even during school breaks? Learn more or contribute to Lighthouse at lincolnlighthouse.org today.
Rick Heyman here from Sartor Heyman Jewelers. I want to personally thank our great customers for voting us once again the best of Lincoln. At the same time, we're celebrating our 120th year in business in the great state of Nebraska. Visit us at South Point, Grand Island, and the Outlet in downtown Lincoln. Visit us today at sartorheyman.com.
Sartor Heyman Jewelers.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
At Valentino's, we're on a mission for tradition. On every slice, for every bite. Golden baked crust, cooked to perfection every time. Savory sweet sauce that's made from our own secret recipe. Loaded with the perfect amount of fresh toppings and melty mozzarella cheese. It's the tradition that Nebraskans have come to love. From game day to every day. Valentino's. Taste the tradition.
Since 1983, Fast Mike's Rollouts have been a trusted and reliable company in Lincoln and the surrounding areas. Fast Mike's handles all sides of construction projects, home renovations, or big cleanouts. With the perfect size dumpster to fit your needs, Fast Mike's Rollouts will haul it all. With same-day delivery in Lincoln, affordable rates, and top-notch service, Fast Mike's Rollouts make cleanup quick and easy. Call now at 402-450-6828 or visit us online at fastmikesrolloffs.com. Book your dumpster today. Fast Mike's Rolloffs, cleanup made simple.
Empire Netting and Fence delivers top quality netting and fence solutions. From major sports venues to backyard installs and everything in between, coast to coast. We take on tough jobs with grit, integrity, and a strong commitment to safety. Empire is growing, and we're hiring motivated people ready to grow with us. We build each other up, and we're building something big. Think you've got what it takes? Apply now at empire-fence.com. That's empire-fence.com.
Schweizo Construction is now hiring for skilled craftsmen, steel erectors, concrete workers, and general laborers. Schweizo Construction offers great benefits like premium wages, health and dental insurance, paid holidays and vacation, 401k with company match, life insurance, and disability insurance. They pride themselves on a legacy of 40 years built on integrity and trust. Joining their team means becoming part of a family that values hard work, dedication, and mutual respect. Apply today at schweizo.com. That's SCHWISOW.com.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Now back to the Law of Lift with Dr. Lawrence Chatters on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
That's right. You are listening to the Law of Lift with Dr. Lawrence Chatters, and I have Coach Heather Brink in the studio with me today, the head coach of the Nebraska women's gymnastics team. And I had the opportunity to work with her as an administrator when I was working in Nebraska athletics, and just was consistently impressed by her consistency and just the passion that she brings to the sport of women's gymnastics. And honestly, it inspired me. When I was around the program and had the opportunity to work very closely with those student athletes, I just really enjoyed it. And I enjoyed being in the flow of that energy that they bring to the table, the consistency, the discipline, watching you all practice and just do so much on a daily basis, and how those student athletes push themselves and how strong they are, and how that's just a part of their life, right? And then they're in the classroom and they're doing amazing things, and they're in the community and they're doing amazing things, and they have their families and everything else, that back home for a lot of them, because, not necessarily quite a few of them were from Nebraska when I was there, but they'd have to deal with that. So just watching all of that and seeing them do it at a high level, many of them in so many different realms of those areas were accomplishing high level things. And so you've talked to us today about, again, from your journey as an all-around champion to, going through the professional space, getting back into coaching, being an assistant coach, starting here in 2011, first Big Ten championship for Nebraska, their first year in, which is absolutely amazing. You all made your presence known, right?
Yeah.
And, you kind of talked about just what that process of being an assistant coach was like. And for you personally, professionally, you learning all of those different types of things. And talk talk to us about when that next transition comes
Yeah.
up of you becoming the head coach of Nebraska
Yeah, it
Women's
was
Gymnastics.
interesting. I mean, things didn't necessarily play out like I think anybody kind of saw. Dan retired in the middle of 2018
Yeah.
fall semesters, 2018, 2019 season.
Mhm.
And they named me interim at
Okay.
that point.
Okay.
So it's myself and one other coach, because at the time you could only have 3 paid coaches, right? So
Yes.
it was me and this other coach. And we, kind of did the thing ourselves.
Yeah.
It was, I was like, you got the gym, I'll do the office. Cause it was also his first year as an assistant coach.
I see.
Not coaching, but as an assistant coach collegiately. So it's like, you run the gym, you're comfortable on that side. I'll run the office. I'll see you. I'll see you at practice. And so, I mean, I think the challenging part in that space was obviously how do you move on from that space of, 2 people finding somebody, your interim.
Right.
Do you,
Yeah.
what that space looked like. But also I think the biggest shock to me in that particular moment was the shift of the student athletes view of me.
Yeah.
Right. Like I thought, I have this great relationship. It's something that comes really naturally. I know myself
Yeah.
to be the same person.
Mhm.
But when that title changed, their view spun 180, degrees. And that was a big challenge for me. Like
Yeah.
one, just recognizing that.
Right.
2, at that moment during that year, not really feeling like I had the time to give to kind of rectify or to
Right.
change, or even knowing really what it was
What
at
it
that
was.
moment.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
So that year ended. The next year, we had a full staff. I was named full-time head coach
Mhm.
at the end of 2019. Started the next year, new staff, brand new, you know what I mean? Really kind of identifying all these things that I wasn't even really aware that had to be decided, right?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
think you're ready,
Yeah.
and then you're like feet are thrown to the fire.
Absolutely.
And that process was also a challenge for me, and kind of, well, I never thought about it that way. Well, I guess this is how we always used to do it. Let's just fall back to that
Yeah.
comfort space of doing that. And then we all know what happened during the 2020 season. So that was,
yes.
um,
Very challenging. Yeah.
yeah, challenging. Obviously, I'm still kind of reeling as a brand, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
What I feel like as a brand new head coach, and how to manage some of these strategic decisions that
Yeah.
you're just not in tune with. And I would say by 2020, 2021, I really felt like that year in general, I started to get my feet and my bearings underneath me of like, okay, this is what the job is entailing as a head coach. It's just a lot different.
Yeah,
I mean, as an
yeah.
assistant, you're there in a support role, and
Right.
the head coach is making a lot of those decisions. And as a head coach, you're now the one making the decisions. You can't wait for somebody else to make them for you.
Yeah.
And that was a lesson I had to learn. Additionally, I had to learn who I was as a head coach, right? Like I kept
yes.
falling back to, well, this is how we've always done it, right?
Yeah.
These are the decisions. So thankfully I've had people, administratively like yourself, that have really challenged me to kind of think about things outside of that particular box.
Mhm.
Having assistant coaches, that had come in. Brian Amato is our associate head coach right now. And he, really has forced or challenged me to think outside of Nebraska's box.
Mhm,
Right.
mhm, mhm.
And that's been a blind spot for me, I think. But really kind of understanding who I am, what decisions and how I want to stand, what are my values, what are my morals, how does
Yes.
Heather want to be known as a head coach?
Right.
And then finding time to make the relationship with the student athletes. That part was, I think my first couple of years looking back,
Mhm.
I wish I would have made more space to hear their side of everything. And now kind of being on this side of the fence going, oh, this is really what the important piece of this puzzle is.
Yeah.
And so while I talk about all those things as an assistant coach, I don't necessarily think I knew the importance of it until I've been here in the head coaching role.
I see.
And really kind of, you have to make space for it to happen. You can't be like, I have all of these other things. I don't have time for you to come sit in my office and,
Right.
tell me about all the things happening outside of the gym. You just have to make space for it, because, you are their support system.
Yeah.
And in those moments, you really get the ability to impact and guide them in their lives,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Outside of the gym, and they also get to see you as a human being.
Yeah.
And that space, the first couple of years, I don't think I allowed people in to see.
I see.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And so I'm just hearing so many connections back to early on in your journey where you really felt like more of limitation between what your coaches knew about you personally
Mhm.
versus you as a gymnast, and
mhm.
how you really wanted that connection,
Mhm.
and how you felt that that connection would have helped you back then, really feel more like you belonged in some of
Right,
those spaces.
right.
And then as an assistant coach, it sounds like you really had the opportunity to lean into that,
Yeah.
right? And you really were essentially providing what you had wanted
Yeah.
when you were younger. And then as a head coach, once again, there's that change, that transition, that unique difference in identity of assistant coach versus head coach,
Right,
right?
right.
And it's first of all, it sounds like you were really just trying to find your footing
Mhm.
because of how everything happened, and how, here you have all these different factors that are impacting you, that you have to make some tough decisions and
Right,
different things like
right.
that. But when you think back on it, and you're considering when you first took that head coaching job, when you took the head coaching job here, what was it that the student athletes, why did they do a 180 in what they were telling you and how they were treating you from your perspective?
Yeah.
Why?
I mean,
Why?
I think you become the disciplinarian, the decision maker, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
the one person that, can dictate or can change an
Yeah.
environment for them.
Mhm.
And sometimes that can be seen negatively,
Yeah,
in that space. So that's why I go back to having the relationship with them. Had I made that space to really understand that,
Mhm.
I think they would, one, always understand no matter what the decision is, it comes from a place of caring. But two, I would have also seen or heard their perspective. Maybe,
I
you know
see.
what I mean? Maybe
Yeah.
even had a better understanding of um, where they're coming from in some of that environment. So I don't know that I really, when I look back, I mean, when you ask the question, I look back and I'm like, I don't know that I made the time to really ask them that.
I see.
Right. And
Yeah.
so again, you go, okay, nuggets of things you'll make sure you don't do again.
Yeah.
That I think really became an important piece of what I try to do almost every single day with this current, you know what I mean?
That's great. And then it's not
Level of
unnatural,
athletes.
right?
Yeah,
Then it's
yeah.
not unnatural. Then they know, first of all, they're getting the authentic you.
Yeah.
You're getting the authentic them. And it's kind of not having to.
Yeah.
So, it's interesting because I can recall a certain amount of comfort in not necessarily knowing all the details of everything that was going on,
Mhm,
because things can get pretty complicated,
Right,
right?
right.
And there's different dynamics and relationships and different things like that that are just challenging, that, sometimes it's good to have a little bit of distance. As you currently now have 3 additional coaches,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And things have changed in that
Right.
dynamic from that perspective. Do you feel like, as the head coach now, that you are still kind of somewhat above some of that noise, if you will,
Yeah.
or chatter,
Yeah.
or,
I mean, I think I've just tried to find people who are sharing the passion and
Mhm.
the investment of what I feel like is important, and that's the end.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when you share in that kind of vision, I think it's then important to realize that we all have our own different perspectives, our own different unique upbringings.
Yes.
And I hope I've found people that can kind of fill gaps that I don't have as strengths,
Mhm.
but also fill gaps that can challenge me to think differently.
Mhm.
Because we tend to you're in the sports world, you got to make quick decisions,
Yes,
right? And
yes.
sometimes having differing perspectives or outside information can sometimes change the way you view something, or just the way you think about something, or make a pause and go, okay, let me gather some more data before I actually make the decision in that process. So I do think the more you're surrounded by those people,
Yeah.
and knowing that they, just like I'm talking about my relationship with my athletes,
Yeah.
me knowing that they care
Yes.
about the same things I care about, right? And the
Yes.
investment of Nebraska, that allows that trust to kind of be able to go both ways. And to me, it's a collaboration. Like I can't make this run just by myself.
Right.
I
Yeah.
mean, having 3 assistants or paid assistants,
Yeah.
now 4 full-time coaches, allow you a space to like even divvy things out a little bit differently, right?
Absolutely.
As far as
Yeah.
job duties and helping them evolve as people. And
Yeah.
it's been really good. I think through our recruiting of student athletes, right? You try to recruit really good people.
Yes.
That are also going to contribute to the outcome of, of the program. But I think you try to do the same thing when you're doing the hiring process.
Definitely.
And
Definitely.
finding those people that also are going to challenge me.
Yeah.
I mean, because that's really what I want, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So that's great. And it's amazing to hear about those dynamics, because I think that, one of the things that some of us have the opportunity to do is choose our team. Other times you don't have the opportunity to choose your team, right? And so you find yourself in a space where you're dealing with those dynamics and you didn't put yourself in that situation purposefully. But I think with the recruitment process and also with, being able to hire folks, you get the chance to choose your team. And I think ultimately when you can choose people who do see things the way that you see them, value the things that you value, and honestly, like you said, value the end, right? And what it represents and the excellence in that, then you can have a good team and a good culture. So, we'll continue kind of talking about that culture. And, that's one of the things that I know is incredibly important to you, is setting a standard and having a specific culture that people understand the essence of it, why they're, pursuing the goal the way that you've kind of put that out there. Like, this is what we're going to do this year. This is how we're going to accomplish it. And so talk to us now about some of those dynamics and how you help to establish a positive culture on your team.
Yeah. I mean, I think there was a time and a place where things happen, you know what I mean? Or have happened to you, at you, around you, whatever, that I think get in your way. Right. So the space of this is not necessarily to always remove all of those things. Like, there's going to be adversity in life, but if we can, rectify and be a family, unite as a total group, I think we can withstand kind of the storm, right?
Yeah.
And that storm every year is different, because I can't predict what's going to happen, in the next 6 to 9 months. And so, but I do get the ability to control or impact how close and united we are as a team.
Absolutely.
And I do believe that while having these outcome athletic goals are important, if this isn't a close team, it will hold us back, right? It won't always make us achieve those goals,
right?
But it will hold us back,
definitely,
right? And so if we don't do this piece and continue to protect it and invest in it from a team dynamic space, it will be very challenging to reach the goals. So do this part to the best of your ability, and then be able to shift that into the athletic, space of achieving the outcome goals.
Yeah. And what I've noticed more and more is that there are those adversities every single year, right? There's challenges, there's things that you don't expect, there's injuries, there's all kinds of things.
Right.
That happen.
Life, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Life in and of itself is so unpredictable, and things are definitely going to happen. But as you're saying, as long as the culture is there and there's those different pieces that bring people together and connect us, we can get through those challenging things together. And so I hope you all have been really enjoying this conversation today as much as I have. We'll have more from Coach Brink when we come back from this break. You're listening to The Law of Lift with Dr. Lawrence Chatters. We have Coach Heather Brink in here today on 93.7 The Ticket.
Link to Literacy's third annual Wordstock event will be at Antelope Park on Saturday, August 23rd from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's a community book swap festival with fun for the entire family and for all ages. Enjoy food trucks, kids activities, a reading corner with celebrity narrators, including Brian Health and President and CEO, Director of Parks and Recreation, UNL athletes, and more. And of course, free books for all kids and adults. Go to linktoliteracy.org to get the full story and then make your plans to attend Wordstock.
Breaking here at the news desk. When you stack Allo Internet, DirecTV, and mobile, you can lock in your price for 2 years. Sources are confirming that when you stack Allo Internet, DirecTV, and mobile, your monthly price drops and you're locked in for 2 years. That's fiber fast internet, premium streaming TV, and reliable nationwide mobile coverage. And this just in, you must switch by Labor Day to secure that locked-in pricing for 2 years. Switch, stack, and save at allofiber.com/stack.
Attention all Wings fans. Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays, enjoy 40% off boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.39 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Wings and Rings today, 68th and O, or in Williamsburg Village.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Divorce is complicated. It affects every part of your life, your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce and the unexpected directions that it can take, it's times like this that you need a partner you can count on.
If you're a man facing divorce, contact Cordell and Cordell today to connect with a local divorce attorney who understands the challenges you're facing on a personal level. Text GO99 to 323232. GO99 to 323232. GO99 to 323232. 1221 N Street, Lincoln. Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textingterms.us. Texting enrolls you for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply, stop to opt out.
Load up on meat and more this spring at The Mercado by Certified Piedmontese with great selections of T-bones, tomahawks, ribeyes, filet mignon, brisket, sirloin, and so much more. The Mercado has locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney in Lincoln, where you can have $2 draft beer every Thursday night from 4 to 8 p.m. and half-price espresso drinks on Fridays from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
Why are some people more successful? Is it talent and determination, or did they recognize an opportunity? Discover a career that lets you help families reach their financial goals as you build lasting professional relationships, one with unlimited income potential. From Modern Woodman, a leading fraternal financial services provider.
I'm Modern Woodman Regional Director Sean Erickson. Call me at 402-483-6515 to learn about career opportunities.
Modern Woodman of America, touching lives, securing futures.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust, member FDIC. With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust, member FDIC.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with Taco Night on Mondays or Whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
Now back to the Law of Lift with Dr. Lawrence Chatters on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's right. You're listening to the Law of Lift with Dr. Lawrence Chatters, and I have Coach Heather Brink, the head coach for the Nebraska women's gymnastics team, in here with me today. And she's just been talking to us a lot about her journey and her evolution as a person, as a coach, and just all the lessons that she's learned. And we were just recently talking about the importance of culture, being able to build a culture that is positive, that really feeds off of itself in a positive way, leads to more positive outcomes and everything else. And, you know, I'm just going to bring something, you know, that you were kind of talking to in our break into the space. And that is just the challenge of today of us being able as a society to have difficult conversations,
right,
and not walk away from some of those spaces feeling absolutely defeated. And, you know, how important it is to have a very open and candid dialogue. However, the piece that you mentioned is a mutual respect for each other.
Right.
Right. And so, you know, it's just one of those things, you know, when you have a situation where you're dealing with somebody and you're trying to help them get better, if they're open to that constructive feedback and you can both respect each other and respect the fact that, I mean, for the most part, most of the time we're all trying,
right,
and we're all trying to do our best,
right.
And to have that level of respect for each other, you know, you can make those adjustments and talk to people about, you know, I'm not sure you gave that your all, right? So how are you now incorporating all these lessons that you've learned over the course of your, you know, personal journey, right?
I mean, it's a lot of lessons learned, right?
Yes.
So you got to pick and choose which ones you think are going to be the most impactful
Definitely.
in the moments. I tend to really enjoy doing book studies with the athletes. I feel like that's driven the message home and opened up the door for candid conversations about certain situations.
Yes.
And allowed them, maybe a different perspective to have a conversation with me other than as the coach.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so we've talked a lot about leadership, and we've talked a lot about growth as a team, and teammate responsibility or athlete responsibility, teammate accountability, commitment, what all of those things look like. So now we can transition, the culture dynamic space that's in such a positive world, and utilize that to help us achieve our goals. And I mean, the way I was always brought up personally, is you should be more afraid of somebody's silence than you should from their feedback. And it goes back to the relationship. To build that trust and that respect, you have to have the relationship. So to me, it's like starting that foundation with them to understand that first comes building the relationship. You've got to be willing to invest into that space, and make that connection. And once that relationship is there, that trust, can evolve and can grow. But it is your responsibility on your side of the equation, as it is mine on my side, to protect that trust. So that means I'm not going to utilize that to be harmful, or create mistrust. But I'm going to utilize it in a way to kind of challenge you to do better or to do more. And when we can kind of see that as a positive because they care about each other, I think then you can leave the rooms going, I respect your feedback, right? And take that for a space of growth and challenge yourself, as opposed to, I feel like it's more harmful to let you stay status quo than it is to feel challenged it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Nobody enjoys it,
No,
right?
yeah.
On either side of the equation. But I don't know if you've never watched a TED Talk, How Comfort Will Ruin Your Life. It really makes me think of that, the different growth rings, and being uncomfortable sometimes is just where the new habits meet the old, right? And now you're uncomfortable and trying to create those new ones because it's not habitual yet.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And speaking of discomfort, I think that, there's been some pretty significant challenges within just the athletic space across the country with some of the changes that have happened and everything else. And, it's a new backdrop that you're working up against. And I think at the same time, there's still those same things that are happening. There's still the recruitment piece. There's still the, you got to bring this person in and, help them hone their skills and their talents and their potential and everything else. What is your outlook for the future of your current team, and what are your expectations for this next year?
Yeah. I mean, first I want to note that I think there are just a handful, if not just a few times in history that have changed the dynamics or the perspective of collegiate sports. One was Title IX, right? Now we're entering into this rev share space, and what that looks like and the challenges it brings on to, you know what I mean? Not necessarily, I think we're blessed here at Nebraska by far,
always,
in our support from our community and our donors and all of that. But also, how do you as a head coach now balance that space in the recruiting realm, in the locker rooms, and obviously in the coaching space? And I think each one of the head coaches or coaching staffs in Nebraska want to utilize that space to, set ourselves up to be successful for that end. And the better one, another team, men's gymnastics does, it only helps produce, better outlook for Nebraska. As far as our outlook, for our team in general, we've got a big underclassmen. So I've got 7 freshmen.
Wow.
But I think, as I alluded to earlier on, we tried to do a really good job of just recruiting good people that I feel like are really excited to be a part of our program. And when they share that passion and that investment into the program, I think they also will buy into the vision and the goals of that and to do the work. I think I have a good group of upperclassmen that really want to mentor and lead this underclassmen group and really kind of make an impact for them, because I think they now too are starting to process, this is my legacy, right? And how can they utilize that so that we can all align our efforts? Because to me, it's not necessarily that I need more effort. It's alignment of that effort in the same direction to accomplish those goals. And can't directly, correlate or control the outcome of that goal, but every work, it's the monotony, it's the day-to-day, it's the uncomfortable conversations that happen behind the scenes before we get to that moment that really are going to dictate whether this team is able to accomplish that. So I think that's kind of the space we've been in. We're just about to start our preseason because school starts a week from Monday. Awesome. I think it's kind of the hardest. I'm going to call it the grind for them. And there's just no really results driven because we don't compete till January.
Right.
So they just kind of have to buy into that process. So I think that's where the culture piece comes in. If we can stay united in that and ride out that storm and kind of become closer because of it, I think when competition hits, it'll be a year for record books, hopefully.
That's awesome. That's so awesome to hear. And, as I was just kind of an outside observer and being able to see that journey of the preparation and all the time and effort that goes into it, I think, most people, if you get the chance to watch any routine, you see all the different skills and everything that they're doing. But all of those things are a combination of, like you said, the hard work and the time and the effort and the culture and the people pouring into you and the relationships and everything else. That's what you're seeing really manifest in that moment. And that's so important that it's really metaphorical to life in so many different ways as I watch the student athletes, as I watch you all as coaches do what you do, which is just all this time and effort goes into the behind the scenes. And then people sometimes get to see a small sliver through the performance of what that means. But what I've also recognized is that there's just some really high level, high caliber individuals that come through this program. And I think what's so unique about this story and just kind of hearing your story today, Coach, is that here you are on the other side of that journey where you have the student athlete who is in your program, who has the opportunity to learn more about themselves and grow and truly push themselves and fulfill their potential. And you get to not only be a major part of that person's life by choosing them to be here at Nebraska, and they have to choose Nebraska too, right? But now you're also coaching other coaches.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And I think, in that process, it's the same approach. It's just different level of people, right? Like they're now adults and have maybe experienced a different side of what we call the RW, the real world, than maybe a student athlete has been fully exposed to. And in that process, each one of them brings their own side of something to the table.
Yes.
And I think that's where we're all uniquely wired to make an impact. And if we can draw off of those differences and those strengths and kind of balance each other out, I think we impact it. I mean, as a staff, we get the ability to model those behaviors first and foremost for our team.
Yeah.
And that's the space I want to create. Is we don't all have to be alike. We have to work together and challenge each other to kind of be able to, win the championships.
Absolutely. And winning championships is what we're really hoping we'll be able to do this year. We're really wishing you all the best this year, Coach. And I really appreciate you taking the time to be on our show.
Always.
Thank you.
Go Big Red.
Go Big Red.